I've got 6 sci-fi books, I had banana bread for breakfast, life's pretty good. Let's get into them. Hello BookTube, I'm Jonathan and welcome to Words in Time. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing some books that I recently picked up and that I want to get to before the end of 2022. Starting with Dragonflight by Anne McCaffrey. In the far future, on a planet called Pern, colonists encounter deadly thread that rains down from the sky, and the humans use genetically altered dragons to destroy the thread. Our main character Lessa is a lowly kitchen girl, but her life changes when she meets a queen dragon. With very few dragons left, Lessa risks her life and her beloved dragon to save her world. So at first, I wasn't sure if this book really was sci-fi, but as I read a bit more about it, it does sound like we have some interesting sci-fi elements. We're in a future setting on a different planet, and it sounds like there's some interesting things going on with technology. When I mentioned this in a previous video, a lot of you guys commented that it is indeed science fiction, and you were quite excited for me to read it. This one got some pretty positive reviews and feedback. And this book was actually picked by my friend Dan from Treebeard Book Reviews as my patron pick for the month of October. So if you're interested in getting to vote on what I read, check out the link to my Patreon in the description, and maybe your lucky book will come up on the spinny wheelie thingy next month. As someone that doesn't read a lot of fantasy, I'm actually starting to get a little bit excited about reading a book about dragons, particularly genetically altered dragons. That sounds pretty cool to me. So if you sound interested in this one as well, join me, read along with me. I'll definitely be getting to this one before the end of October. Our second book is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the premise for this one, but just in case, an astonishing technique for recovering and cloning dinosaur DNA has been discovered. This technique is used on a preserve named Jurassic Park, which showcases the cloned dinosaurs. Guests can visit the park to view these awesome creatures, until something goes wrong. So I'm super pumped for this one because I've been meaning to read some Michael Crichton for quite a while. I was actually planning on reading Sphere, which I already own as well, relatively soon, but my friend Dan, double shout out for Dan on the video this week from Treebeard Book Reviews, reached out and said, would you like to do a Jurassic Park read-along in November? And I said, absolutely. So if you're interested in reading this as well, definitely pick it up, join us for this read-along. I'm excited to see whether it lives up to the incredible film, and I'll be thinking about that amazing soundtrack in my head the whole time while reading it, and also looking to finally getting a taste for Michael Crichton's writing. Jurassic Park. Join us. Third on the list, and it's a big one, it is Olympos by Dan Simmons, the second book in the Ilium Olympos duology. So, seeing as this is book 2, I'll give you the premise for the first book, Ilium. As the Trojan War rages on the planet Mars, a resurrected 21st century scholar compares the events of the Iliad to the war that's repeating itself. On Earth, a small band of humans pursue a lost past and a devastating truth, and 4 sentient machines depart Jovian space in order to investigate potentially catastrophic emissions from the Red Planet. So this is kind of an insane duology from Dan Simmons, author of the Hyperion Cantos. It's the type of book I'm currently reading, Ilium, where you kind of just dropped right in the middle of it and you just kind of have to catch up later on. I'm not sure if I'm quite hooked yet, but there's some really interesting elements and I'm hoping that all the different threads are gonna come together. If you like big sci-fi concepts and lots of literary references, then this could be a duology for you. Now, I haven't actually read the Iliad, but I feel like I'm picking enough up through context, just like in Hyperion, there's a lot of references to John Keats' works, and I wasn't super familiar with him beforehand, and I ended up loving that series. But if you have read the Iliad, then maybe parts of Ilium you'll be able to connect with even more than I have. So I'll be finishing Ilium in October and then getting on to Olympos in November as part of a read-along that I'm doing with Alex from Tall Guy Reads. So definitely check out his channel, and if you're interested, try picking up Ilium and Olympos. Fourth on the list, and it's another big book too in a duology, it's Judas Unchained by Peter F. Hamilton, book 2 in the Commonwealth saga. So once again, I'll give you the premise for the first book, this time Pandora's Star. In the year 2380, the intersolar Commonwealth spans over 400 light years and contains over 600 worlds. One day, over 1,000 light years away, a star vanishes. So a starship is built, a crew is assembled to set out on a mission to find out what exactly happened and why. So this one's even bigger than Olympos. Some rather thin paper used in this mass market paperback. It's over 1,000 pages long, but I am looking forward to diving into those 1,000 pages because I really enjoyed the first book, Pandora's Star. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on that one, I do have a full review that I'll leave a link to in the description. The Commonwealth Saga is some epic space opera. The first book, Pandora's Star, has some amazing world building, lots of crazy sci-fi concepts with quite a lot of technical descriptions, lots of characters and narrative threads that, even though I was a tiny bit annoyed that the first book ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, not everything quite came together yet, I'm already missing that world, already missing those characters, and I'm excited to see what happens in the end. So I'll be getting to that one in November, but seeing as it is quite thick, I probably won't finish it until December, but if you're interested in Pandora's Star and Judas Unchained, there's a lot of catching up to do, but feel free to join me as I tackle the Commonwealth Saga. The second last book on my list is Upgrade by Blake Crouch. At first, Logan Ramsey isn't sure if anything's different. He just feels a little sharper, but before long, he can't deny it. Something's happening to his brain, his body. The truth is, Logan's genome has been hacked, and there's a reason he's been targeted for this upgrade. A reason that goes back decades to the darkest part of his past and a horrific family legacy. This is another one that I'm excited to read because I'm a fan of Blake Crouch. I really liked Recursion and I absolutely loved Dark Matter. I've heard pretty positive reviews on this one. I'm not sure the community is quite as warm to Upgrade as they were to the two that I just mentioned, but I'm still excited to get to it, and I'm looking forward to reading this Random House large print edition. I got that version of Project Hail Mary, and I quite enjoyed reading the unnecessarily large, let me see if I can just show it to you, the extremely large print, because it made me feel like I was flying through the book. Andy Weir, Blake Crouch, already very fast-paced writers, and when you're able to blow through 100 pages, even if that's only really 60 real pages in a sitting, it's just a lot of fun flying through the story. So let me know if you've read Upgrade, how it compares to some other Blake Crouch books, but this is another one of his that I'm excited to get to before the end of 2022. And the sixth and final book on the list, Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. Set in the days of civilization's collapse, Station 11 tells the story of a Hollywood actor that dies on stage during a production of King Lear. Hours later, the world begins to dissolve. Moving back and forth in time, this novel charts the strange twist of fate that connects 5 different people. So this book wasn't really on my radar, but I saw it for a good price, and I've been hearing a lot of people talking about this author recently, both this book, Station 11, and another book of hers, Sea of Tranquility, and they seem to really work for a lot of people and really not work for a lot of other people. So that kind of got me intrigued to see whether I would enjoy this one, and I found it mildly amusing when I picked up this book. It had one fake sticker over here, and then one actual sticker for the HBO miniseries over here. So I like this one, has a little bit of texture to it. This one, nah, we peeled that right off. We don't need the made-for-TV series sticker on there as well. But anyway, it sounds like this book kind of blends a few genres together. A little artsy, a little literary maybe, but I'm kind of intrigued by the premise and I want to see why this author is so polarizing. So let me know if you've read any of her works and make a prediction on which way you think I might fall. So those are 6 sci-fi books that I've recently added to my TBR, and if you're interested in discussing any of them, feel free to join the Discord or become a patron member, and you can join these cool people, my robots, my androids, and my first cyborg, Nima, and you can vote on what I read next. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and you can find more sci-fi content over here.